Welcome to Kiss Up Cards, Keep It Simple Stamping Up. I'm Marianne and I'm coming to you as a Stampin' Up demonstrator and bringing to you tonight Fun Fold Friday. This is another great Fun Fold Friday night. I'm bringing you the double tri-fold angled card. I always have to think about these angles. Yeah, so I'm sticking with angles. You saw how much fun I had last week. So I'm going to do it again this week, and I'm going to work with angles. You know what? It doesn't frustrate me. It's just like, it's part of the course. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my video from last week. I showed a double angled fun fold card, and it was a treat. It was a treat for me too. But you know what? I conquered it and I did get it done. This week, I'm going to bring you this beautiful little card. It's called a double tri-fold angled card. And I'm going to show you how to make this belly band for the card as well. And this is the card. And I even decorated the inside of the card. The one flap. I could have decorated both flaps, but you'll see why when we go through the video, why this is decorated on the inside. And then I like to fold it this way, and then I just put the belly band back on the card. Yep, it's easy. Just put the belly band back on the card. It keeps the card closed. And it's just a beautiful way to send a card. So I'm going to show you how to make this card tonight. You're like thinking, oh, that looks a little challenging. Angles are challenging for me, but I'm sure for some of you, it's no sweat at all. And then of course, I decorated the envelope to go with the card. Whoops, to go with the card. So let's get right to my crafting table. All right, here at my craft table, again, as I always suggest, is when I'm doing a new cut, and I suggest this for you guys as well, is when I'm doing a new cut, I'm going to take scrap, like just copy paper, and work with that. So I've got two different colors, white and yellow, because I've got two different ankle cuts. And if you watched my video last week, you will have discovered not so great with angles, but I'm gonna try again. And this is a different one, so let's see what happens. So we're gonna cut our card base 5.5 by 11. So we need 5.5 and then by 11. Okay, so usually we get two cards out of one sheet. We're not going to be able to do that with this layout, but it's still a really cute layout. And then what we're going to do is we're going to score at 3 3/8. So this is 1, 2, 3/8, 3 3/8. So take my score blade and score. And then I'm going to turn my paper around and score the other side at 3 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, not my cutting blade, my scoring blade. So there we go. We've got that. And this would fold in like this. It's going to cross. But we need some angles. So we're going to determine where the top of our paper card is going to be. So the first cut you make isn't really going to matter that much, but you want the score line just at the groove, and this tip I want at 1.5. So this is going to be 1.5. Right here, and I'm going to hold that there and put the top of the score line into the groove, and this point is at 1.5. I've got measurements on this side as well. This, I'm going to take my cutting blade and I'm going to cut from the widest to the narrowest, because if I come down here, it could grab the paper. So I'm going to cut this way. So there's one cut. So that will fold in this way. So you can see the angle starting to come. So then we're going to do the same on this side. So again, with my scrap paper, if I make a mistake, and that was not 1.5, see? Well, that's okay because I cut it too short. And this is a practice run. I thought it didn't have. So let me turn this. 1.5 goes right to the edge. See, that's why I practice. So let me grab another piece of paper. All right, so we're going to take this, and we need a card base that is 5.5 by 11. So I'm going to cut this at, so this is the 11 side, so I'm going to cut this at 5.5 by 11. And then I'm going to score at 3 3/8. 3, okay. And I'm going to turn this around and score at 3 3/8. And I'm going to take the score line and line that up in the groove, and the point I'm going to measure at 1.5. So this is going to line up in the groove, so when I cut, it comes right at the top, and this point is at the 1.5, which comes right to the edge of my trimmer. And then I'm going to take the blade and I'm going to start at the wider end because I'm cutting at a narrow piece up here and it could bunch up, and we don't want that with cardstock or paper. So there, we've got that much cut off. Then we're going to just flip it around and do the same thing on this side. It looks like a complicated way to make a card, but once you see it once, you see, oh my gosh, see, I have both angles. Oh, I'm so excited about that. That's so cool. So then you're going to fold it on the line. I think I'm going to fold it this way because I can see this line better. Oh yes, we're not done cutting because we need to put an angle on this. So this one, I'm going to put the point in the groove, and then this one is going to be at 1 inch. So like this. So I've got this in the top of the groove, and I've got this at the point at the 1 inch mark. Bring my blade down and just cut that off. And there, I've got that side done. And I'm going to do this side. And you can just see I'm just flipping it over. So I'm going to, yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure. The 1 inch mark. And this point in the groove. And I don't want to start cutting here because that could grab. Again, it bunches and it grabs. So I'm just going to go up like this. And there we go. So this is going to get folded like this, and it's going to cross. Okay, so the reason I grabbed a white piece of paper as well is because that is going to be covering here, and I want to practice how to cut that. So we need 2 pieces, 5 1/4 by 3 3/8. So let's do 5 1/4. Yeah, 5 1/4. Again, I'm just using scrap paper. And then 3 1/8. So 3 1/8. So I'll cut 2 of these. So they're going to go on like this. All right, so now they want to cut from the top corner to 1.5. Oops. To the one, and so my tip, oops, bring the blade down. The tip is at the 1.5 mark, and this little tip is in the track. Okay. There's that piece, and then this will be in the track, and this will be at the 1-inch mark to give that same angle. And that will fit in like this. And then you would do the same with this piece. So there I've got, again, my template, and I've shown you in the past. On here, you can put angled trifold card, gold trifold card. And then you can write all your instructions here, and the same on this piece. And then you can just paper clip them together and have them in your catalog, and you can have the directions with it. Just write on here, and then you'll know what the finished product is supposed to look like. Now, another thing I'm going to talk about that I have not ever shown yet is a belly band. A belly band is going to be a thin piece of paper, like a 3/4 inch piece by 10 inch. And I'll show you what a belly band does. It's really kind of cool what it does. And then this is going to be 10 inches, which I need my arm for. This is going to be, let me take this and that one. There. And this will go around the card, and we're not going to tighten it. We're just going to make it loose, and it'll be a belly band so you can slide your card in and out. So I'm going to show you that on the card. This is always the nerve-wracking part, going to the cardstock. I have Orchid Oasis. This is such a beautiful color. And I picked this, and that just picks out the watering can. And I just thought this paper would be really neat to have on the front of the card. Now, on the front of the card, you could have 2 different patterns, the same. You could have a plain over here and patterned over here. I mean, the one side you're not going to see too much of. It's just how you want to decorate your paper. 1.5. Cut that off. And by 11. And now we're going to score at 3 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Flip my card around and score at 3 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Not my cutting blade. And now we're going to cut the angles. So on this angle, I've got the top of the score line in the groove, the cutting groove, just at the edge, and this at the 1.5 mark. And so this is the trick, not to have your paper move. There we go. Lay this down and make that cut. I'm just going to do that on each side. Now this is not, you can cut little things out of there, or you can use this to make designs on another card, but that's not wasteful at all. Now, I want to cut from here to here. So I want this top piece in the groove and this one at the 1 inch mark. You could sit and measure with a pen, ruler and a pencil, but this is just as easy and quick to do it like this. There we go. I got a little feathery there. I'll trim that with my scissors. And then this side, yes, because that's going to come like this. Okay, just wanted to make sure. If you saw my video last week, oh my gosh, I struggled with triangles. It was quite entertaining. So if you just get little marks like this, you just trim it off. So there's that card base. And now we need the designer paper. So on the directional piece, and I always say when you make your first cut, turn your paper. So I'm going to cut 5 1/4. And then your direction, for some reason, I always get it going in the right direction when I do that, by 3 1/8. 3 1/8, not 3 1/4. So there's one piece. And here's 3 1/8. Another piece. Now you want to take the top. This is going to be the top. I want to take this and line it up in the groove and line this up to the 1 1/2. And make the cut. And this way, I'm going to put that point there, and this one I'm going to line up at the 1 inch mark. So I know this is 1 inch because my measurements come at halfway on my cutting tool as well, which is very helpful. There's one piece. This is the top. So I'm going to put it in the groove and go to the 1 1/2 inch mark. Make my cut. Didn't quite come to the point, but it's going to have to be good enough. I don't think I can do it again. And then into the groove and the 1 inch mark and make my cut. I've got all kinds of little pieces that I can use on another. Now the fun part. Let's put this together. So I'm going to fold my card on the score line. And fold this one. And I've got this one on this side. And this one on this side. Do you see what happened? I didn't cut the one side properly. So now I've got them both going this way. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to flip this and glue this down. I still am struggling with angles, so I should have laid it on the card and looked at it. That's just like I learned last week. Lay it on the card, figure out where I'm going to cut it. Really helped me in the end, and I should have, and I did that wrong. So you know what you can do? You can decorate the inside of your card as well. I hadn't thought about doing that, but you can certainly do that. And when you open it up, you've got it in on the inside. So I'm going to try this again. I'm going to try this again, folks. I thought I could get the angles. Well, not if I struggled last week. This week would be so much better. All right, let's get this. So I need 5.5. No, let me look at my measurements. Let me look at my measurements. 5.25. I think I'm gonna turn it around. 5.25. So I want more of the blue. By 3 1/8. I hope I could get 2 pieces out of this one. 3 1/8. No, I won't. I will not. However, all right, this is where I made the mistake. So I should have went from this. So put this angle in and measure this to 1.5. So this would be the 1.5 right here. And then take this piece and measure to the 1 inch. And this is the 1 inch line. And there, that's in there. And there we go. We have that piece fitting there. Oh, that looks adorable. I like it this way the best. I see more of the blue and then I have the full pail there. That's really cute. All right, got that figured out. Oh my. So let's glue this down. That's what I love about the glue. I get some leeway on it before I secure it down. I like that idea in there. Yeah, I want to fold it this way. So now we're going to get the belly band, and that I can take out of this piece. And the belly band is, let me see, where's my measurements? The belly band is 3/4 inch by 10 inches. So I'm going to need my arm. So 3/4 inch by 10. And you can belly band just about any card. It's just a really neat way to keep cards closed. So the card I made last week, the double triangle fold card, you could belly band that to keep it closed. Absolutely. This is my first time showing you a belly band. So we're going to put this on the card. Oh, you know what? I should put my inside first. So just use our regular white. I have just white copy paper that I'm going to put in here. All right, I'm going into a new stamp set. I got this one and I haven't worked with it yet. It's called In My Heart, and I just loved, you know, there's a little one with a little dog and someone reading a book and under a tree and just some of the little sayings. So I'm going to take a little note to say I was thinking of you. And this, I love the red rubber stamps. A little note to say I was thinking of you is this one. Make sure I get the right stamp set. And I'm going to use Early Espresso. I use this a lot. I'm going to just tap lightly into my ink pad. and make sure there's just ink on the writing. Just gonna lay it down, then I'm just gonna let it sit. Oh, and just think happy thoughts. And then lift it up and a little note to say I was thinking of you. That is adorable. I love different fonts put together. It just, I really do like it. It adds something to it. So that's that one. I'm going to use the Sending Love Your Way on the front of the card, but I'm just doing the inside. And I'm going to then go back to the Storybook Friends, because that's the paper I'm using, and this is Storybook Friends. And I'm just going to take one of these little, I think just this little rabbit here. And I think that's this little guy. And use him in the espresso. And because this is an acrylic stamp, I'm going to put my stamp pad underneath. Now I do want to put some paper along here, so maybe I think I'll just put this closer to the font and just like this, and just let it sit, let the ink transfer to the paper. This I find so calming. I don't know why, but I do. And there we go, just a little bunny rabbit there. Cute. This is such a cute set. You in upcoming videos how to put colors together on your stamp sets to create colors if they have different layouts and stuff. All right, so we're going to attach this into the center of the card, and I'm going to just use my tape runner. Get this. So I want to get it started. I can get that, and none of it sticks to the mat here, to the silicone mat. And when I'm doing the inside of the card, I just need just the little four corners. That's all I need to stick this down. There we go. I thought I had a little strip. Anyway, I do. Oh, let's put it on this side. And that's just the right measurement, so I'll glue that down. It's got some of the seed packets and some of the tools there, you can see. That finishes the inside off really nicely. And this is how I'm closing it. Okay. So with, keeps wanting to close the other way. With the belly band, I am going to also have a sentiment that I want. That's why I wanted the inside piece first, because when I fold this, I want everything that's in there going to be in there, because this is going to determine the thickness and where I fold the belly band. And you want to fold the belly band just so it has a good fit, but not a tight fit, because you want your card to slide. So I think that is good there. So I'm just going to put some adhesive here and hold that down together. And that's my belly band. And we're going to cover this piece up here. We're going to cover that up. I've got my punches, and out of the Orchid Oasis, I'm going to punch the decorative circle. So that will be the background and sit on like this. And then out of white, I'm going to cut another circle, just a plain circle. There we go. those aside. I slowly get my working space where it just comes in on me. I have to stamp this. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this with, because it's a red rubber stamp, which has the foam in it already. I'm going to take my ink and you want to tap it so that it's just on the lettering. You don't want to bury your ink, your stamp set into the ink and get it all over. And then I'm just going to, I think I'm going to situate it up closer to the top. And then I'm going to glue this onto here. Just center it. I could have used the 2-inch circle as well. I would have just had a smaller edge. Absolutely fine to do. Let me cover my, seal my ink pad so I don't get things in there. So this is going to go here on the belly band. So let me take this off and I'm just going to cover this. And place this on here like this. And the reason I put then I'm just going to slide the belly band onto here. And the reason I left room here is I'm going to make a ribbon, a bow. I'm going to add some ribbon. And I picked this really beautiful ribbon that picks up the colors. I picked this ribbon because it picked up the brown in there and the ivory. And I'm going to make a bow, and I always leave everything on the spool. I don't take it off so that I only use, this is how I do the bow. Kind of a little bit upside down. And I just keep playing with it, because I only want to cut a very little bit off of here. Take my scissors, make a nice angle, and I'm going to attach that here with a glue dot. Some glue dots right here, just attach my bow there, and then attach this like this. So there's my card. A double trifold card with a belly band. So I've got the belly band on there, I pull that off, and then I have my card like this. And it's kind of cool to decorate the inside of it as well. Now, I want it this way. And then I put the belly band back on, and there we go. So there's our angled trifold card. So there we go, folks. The the tri-fold angled card. And it's a great way to show off designer series paper. It's a beautiful card. I'm not sure I'll use it a lot, but to make a special card for someone, I love to use where I can get the most out of my paper, but it's still an easy card to make, and it's a special card. If you need a special card for someone, this is a really great card to use, design to use. What more can I say? Fun Fold Fridays. Here we are having fun with angles. I have fun with the angles. I love how this turned out. It is just gorgeous. You know, I always say that about the cards, you know, it's just gorgeous. I think I could have made this belly band a little tighter, but I'm not sure. It's my first time making a belly band for a card. and you want to be able to slide it in. But I think I could have made it a little tighter. I may take it apart and just do that. Didn't use glue. I used the Stamp and Seal, so I can take it apart without too much. And if it tears, then I just make another 10-inch by 3/4-inch piece and do that. Thank you for joining me, friends. I love when you come and join me and watch me struggle with angles, but it is still so much fun to bring it to you, show you that I struggle. Like I shared last time, I could edit those pieces out and you could see that, oh my gosh, she just can do those cards like nothing. I can't. I still struggle. I don't always get it right. Some nights if I go too fast and I'm not taking my time to read my directions for the cards and taking my time and rereading those directions before I cut. They always say measure twice, cut once. Well, I always have to read my measurements twice and cut once. So I'm not making, big wastes of cardstock and designer series paper. I want to get the best value of the stock that I have. And I want you to have the best value for the stock that you have as well. I don't want to end up with a whole bunch of pieces and a whole bunch of pieces. Let's just leave it at that. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to continue with Funfold for a little bit longer. I'm not done with my busy season yet, and I'm just enjoying looking for, I've got a library of Funfold cards, and then I look through, okay, what am I going to bring to you tonight? And I have been looking forward to bringing this one to you. I've seen it for a while. I maybe should have started with this one than the other angle one. But you can see where angles get a little tricky and you have to figure out how to work with them. I think the laying of your designer paper on the card before you cut is another good way. It's another good little tip for you to use before you cut your paper and kind of figure it out. If you want to use measuring tape and pencil and guide that along, you can. I like to use the trimmer and the way that I showed you. It's a little faster. I can get tricky, but if I had laid that paper on my card first, I would have realized that the angles went the other way and not both the same way, which is what I did. And c'est la vie. Well, folks, I've got a special person that I'll be sending this card to and sharing kindness, one card at a time.